Hi, welcome to Feminism 101. So we're doing this most basic of all videos because I have been asked this question so many times, and it's actually an audacity to even ask so, but I have been asked so many times in my life, why do we need feminism? Or why do we still need feminism? Or why do we need it at all? And because that's such a ridiculous question, we're gonna answer it today. Well, we're going to talk about what feminism is and what it is not. And first, what is it? The most relevant topics of feminism are like the rights of historically women, but nowadays it's more than just women. It's also non-binary people, trans people, all people who are like oppressed by sexist gender norms. So it's a very broad topic. I'm sorry. Basically, feminism is knowing the fundamental fact to be true that women and non-binary and gender non-conforming people are people. Mind-blowing, right? So that's basically what feminism is. And now we're coming to what feminism is not. All the misconceptions that people may have about feminism. A very common misconception is that feminism is just like women hating men, and that's super stupid because I would argue that most women actually like men, they just hate how they're treating them. So it's actually not hating men, but hating how men are conditioned, or basically hating the patriarchy and what it makes us, or what it makes out of all those men. So no, it's not women hating men, it's women, or like all people who are like, let's say, victims of sexism, hating the patriarchy. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? We hate the patriarchy, not men in particular. It's actually really cool if men join in on feminism and actually, know that women are people and join in on the fight. There we come to another misconception, and that's the most stupid thing I ever heard, and that's the term feminazi. It's an insult usually used as a slur against women who are feminists and stand up for their rights. And it's the dumbest thing ever to say because Nazis were the exact opposite of feminists. So mixing those two things is just the dumbest thing you could do ever in one sentence. So that's to that. And the third misconception about feminism nowadays is the one that it's only about the struggles of white, very privileged, wealthy women, which it is not. Feminism is per se intersectional, so it includes fighting against the struggles of all women and all non-binary and gender non-conforming and trans people. So this is way broader than most people think. And this is called intersectionality. We're going to talk about this way more in other videos, but for now, let's leave it like that. So let's answer the question that we're actually here for. Why do we need feminism? Why on earth would we need people to be accepted equally as people? I cannot. I can actually think of a lot of things. I have a list. If you know me, you know that I love lists, and I have a list for you. Those are just some random reasons why we still need feminism. So here I go. First of all, there's something called femicides and murder of gender minorities. Yeah, it's actually what it says it is. It's if people get murdered for the gender they are, because of the gender they are, because of sexism. Then second part, obviously, sexual violence against women and other gender minorities, domestic violence, sexist violence and abuse, rape culture as a specific characterization of patriarchal oppression. Then next point, really important at the moment, abortion rights, the right to bodily autonomy. This includes the rights of trans people, and also feminism includes trans rights. The rights of gender minorities, we already said. Then we have the gender pay gap, equal pay, we have pink tax, we have tax on sanitary products as luxury articles, which is total fucked up, I'm sorry, I misspoke. Then we have access to menstrual products, access to contraception, access to sex education and knowledge over your own body, which is really empowering. Then we have the huge topic of medical bias. We're going to explain that later. We have childcare systems, unpaid care work, unpaid emotional labor, sexist and toxic work environments and organizations. We have general misogyny in every life situation. It's necessary to see this as a societal problem as it is. It's not an individual one, it's a systemic one. And how actually inefficient this makes our society. Another topic is that most femmes or women, non-binary and gender non-conforming people have mostly zero or no protection by law enforcement. Only certain privileged or very highly privileged people have access to being protected by the law, or not even the law, being the perpetrators themselves. Um, there's no investigations and very less or very few education towards, you know, bodily autonomy, also sexual crimes, which goes into sexual education, but it's like a specific thing, especially with the internet now going on. There's a lot of danger out there that people are just not educated about. Talking about this, coming into the perspective of grooming, which is a heavy topic, so trigger warning, this will be talking about human trafficking, but the real kind, not the QAnon kind that they made up. This is all part of feminism right now. Also part of feminism are the rights of sex workers and other minorities that are discriminated against, because it is a topic that is a taboo for most people. And on top of all that, there is this misogynistic pressure to conform to the gender stereotypes, or mostly binary gender stereotypes. Um, Most people have heard about this, but mostly women are under huge pressure to look a certain way. They have their value attached only to their bodies, and there are so many things that follow with that misconception of having to conform to sexist stereotypes. And this is only like the tip of the iceberg. So just to recap, this was just a list to tell you why, yes, we need feminism. There's a definite yes on that side. But in this situation, we can also not forget like what feminism has already done for us, or for so many people. It's a very short list compared to the other list, to be honest, but there's like 4 things on that list. First one might be voting rights, but as we know, that's not the case for all people and women, femmes in the world, but only for the ones in very democratic countries, which are not the majority. The option of divorce in marriage is also like a result of feminism, or of people fighting for the cause. The right of ownership for women is a result of feminism, and the theoretical legal equality that most democracies have, but is not actually carried out by anyone seriously. So those are the accomplishments we can already celebrate, because this list is so fucking short, and the other list is so fucking long. I mean, at that point, you should see why we definitely still need feminism, why we definitely still need a movement that educates people on the fact that femme people are people. I know it's so basic, but that's what it is. It's a really basic topic. This is a really basic video. Yeah, now we come to the question, why does this actually affect every one of us? I'm gonna just take a sip. Why does this affect everyone? Well, because all actions on earth are interconnected. Therefore, you have to look deeper at the cause. Meaning, why misogyny is there in the first place. Misogyny is a tool by the racist patriarchy to oppress and control by dividing and conquering the people. This is basically what it is. So equality of women and gender minorities would have an immense positive impact on every possible matter of our lives. Different kinds of marginalizations are deeply interconnected, and we can't get rid of just one. We have to dismantle the whole system and get rid of all the interconnected systems of oppression. But that's for our next little chat. And for the people for whom only money counts as an argument, I can confidently say that it would be actually on the side of profit that people would be equal, because it's a way more efficient system if people are not oppressed. Yes, we, the 99% of the world population, would all be wealthy if profits were shared equally and everyone had equal opportunities and fair wages. The system is designed in such a way that it's going to collapse either way. So in this way, it's an economic argument for equality, because it's just logically sound. It is only logical that in the current system we are all losing at one point or another, and people at the top have limited resources to keep the exploitation going on. So sooner or later, one way or another, this is gonna implode. And the only way for all of us to get out of this mess is to finally start respecting each other as people and get this whole shit going forward, which means we have to work on equality. And feminism is like a crucial, very big part of that, like very at the center, with all the other isms we have to fight against. So basically what I'm saying is, if we all had universal childcare and real choices over our own bodies, if we had an actual protection against sexist and racist violence, and if the stakes were the same height, things would be different, but they're not. That's why we are here. That's why we are fighting, and that's why we need feminism. Ta-da! The most topics that we briefly touched in this video will be explained later on in detail in the following videos. So this might be all for today. Thanks for watching. Love you. See you soon. Cheers. That's all we got. That's why we're here. For today, I have nothing else to teach you.